Consider how Cicero observes that old age grants prudence, a gift unmatched by any other possession, though it may strip away many comforts. This prudence is the true length of life, not the mere count of years, for what is long or short is relative to what we receive in that time. Seneca reminds us that many reach death as ignorant as they were born, burdened by fears and falsehoods of their own making. He wishes he had reflected on death sooner, but even late reflection can guide us to leave the stage with honor and wisdom. It is not the length of life, but the quality of living that matters. Seneca writes that a man may die old at 30 and young at 80. The true measure is living until one is wise and dying only when life remains pleasant and fulfilled. Death tests the life we have lived. It reveals the truth beneath our words and appearances. We cannot know when or where death will come, so we must keep it in mind always, preparing to meet it with a heart untroubled by fear. Cicero notes that youth must seek the counsel of those older, for the inexperience of youth requires the guidance of age. This relationship is the path by which understanding grows, cultivated through toil and endurance of both mind and body. The present moment slips away unnoticed, and only in retrospect do we see the swift passage of time. Seneca counsels us to value the present, for what we have done is certain and beyond fortune's reach, while what we shall do remains uncertain. In the end, it is virtue that makes a short life sufficient. The wisdom that comes late is the true possession of a man. Death is not defeat, but the final rest of one who has lived rightly and well. Consider the hope that drives men to seek the best life. Cicero, in Tusculan Disputations, reflects on how this hope impels the pursuit of virtue as the surest path to happiness, despite the frailty of the body and the pains life inflicts. If virtue were dependent on fortune's favor, we would be left to prayers rather than reason. Yet Cicero urges us to trust in virtue's power, for it alone is sufficient to secure a happy life, even amid adversity and human weakness. In De Officiis, Cicero identifies wisdom as the virtue that seeks truth, the substance with which it works. This clarity of understanding guides our actions and preserves the order of human relations, revealing nobility beyond mere gain. Seneca, in Letters from a Stoic, insists that virtue must lead and govern. It cannot be subordinate to pleasure or any external force. Virtue stands first, commanding the soul, for only through its power can happiness be truly attained. The dispute is not about precedence, but essence. Seneca writes that virtue despises pleasure and must remain separate from it. To mix them is blindness. Virtue alone is the highest good and the cause of all true happiness. Remember this as you face the day's trials. Virtue neither follows nor yields. It is the unshakable foundation beneath shifting fortune. This is the truth Marcus Aurelius would have you recall, that what truly matters is what you choose to make sovereign within. Reflect on how nature finds contentment when it moves in its proper course. Marcus Aurelius teaches that a reasonable nature does well when it consents only to what is true and certain, and when it desires nothing beyond what it can control. The wise embrace what is appointed by the common nature, as a leaf is part of the whole tree. This common nature is just and cannot be hindered, unlike the blind forces of the world around us, as Aurelius observes in Meditations. Cicero reminds us that reason must guide our passions, neither allowing them to run wild nor to fall into indifference. Strength of character shines when appetites are held within bounds, preserving calm of soul and freedom from disturbance. Live with simplicity and self-denial, says Cicero, ordering physical needs by health and strength rather than pleasure. Such moderation honors the dignity of our nature and aligns us with the universal order. Marcus Aurelius counsels us to keep body and mind steady, free from loose motions or affectation. Like a wrestler ready for any challenge, we cultivate readiness to meet what life brings without resistance or distraction. When turbulent thoughts arise, put them aside and return to perfect rest and tranquility. Let not fear of reproach deter you from what is honest and right, for your path and the common nature move together as one, Aurelius reminds us. Continue your course by acting according to nature until your last breath, accepting the gifts of earth and air that sustain you. In this acceptance lies the peace that outlasts all turmoil and change. Reflect on Seneca's counsel that wisdom shows itself not in words, but in life, in a firmness of mind and mastery over appetite. To be like oneself always is the highest mark of wisdom. Seneca warns us against inconsistency, the restless shifting from one aim to another without true pursuit. This unsettled mind breeds dissatisfaction and disarray in conduct. Cicero reminds us that wisdom involves clear sight of truth and orderly behavior. Consistency of demeanor, self-control, and unruffled temper reveal the noble soul. Seneca observes that virtue dwells not on the tongue, but in the purified heart. To depend on externals invites covetousness. True good is freedom of the mind. Consider also patience, as Seneca notes, a virtue braver than tempering delight. Invincible patience aligns with nature and strengthens the mind beyond bodily frailty. Cicero teaches that humility is the companion of greatness. The higher we stand, the more humbly we must walk, lest pride undo the steadiness of our soul. So return to yourself with measured thought. Let your words and actions be of a color. In the quiet of your mind, the growth of good manners from your own planting brings the greatest delight. Remember that life assigns you roles as a messenger, a scout, a soldier in the great camp of nature. Each role demands your full attention and readiness to act well, no matter the circumstances, as Epictetus teaches in the Enchiridion. Your power lies in your thinking, your desires, your decisions. These internal faculties are yours alone to command. External things like wealth, health, and reputation remain beyond your control, as Epictetus reminds us. This knowledge frees you amid dependencies. It is not the world that enslaves you, but your mistaken judgments about what is within your power. To live in conformity with nature is to discern and accept this distinction. Control your passions and tenderness with care. Prepare yourself always for the inevitable farewells life demands. The philosopher lives in the world, but not as if bound by it, acting as a player on a stage or a guest at a banquet. In every social situation, from the court to the company of friends, there is a correct way to act that reflects your inner freedom. This is the practice of maturity, to be ready and composed, whatever role you must play. Do not mistake external events for your own. Your true self is the commander of your mind and choices. This is the path to inner freedom and the harmony of your nature with the whole universe.